Welcome, kids and kobolds, to episode 16 of Dion Rising! Hi! This right here is a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition actual play campaign brought to you by the Knights of D20! Hi, Fran! Hi. As usual, before we begin murdering first and asking questions later, we have a few announcements brought to you by a friend of mine who is wearing his human cosplay today. Bobby, give the people what they want.
So it's short and sweet today. The only things I really have to tell you is that tomorrow we will have myself and Dane talking about how crafting works in 5e and if it's useful at all. That's going to be out tomorrow with the Ent Mod Pod. And Wednesday I will be on Tea Time with a special mystery guest that even I don't even know who it is yet. So we will see when we get there. And that's all we really have for you today.
Thank you, Bobby. And thank you all again for joining us as we embark on an epic adventure in the world of Dion, where heroes rise, dangers abound, and legends are born. Players, dice. Get it. In episode 15, our lovely little group of heroes here pulled off a daring and perfectly executed death scene for Chiffon Foxglove, who used her new hat of disguise self to sneak out of Santapelli with the gang after giving them some pretty cool presents as thanks. They began the long journey by land to the city Ozaled, where they've been told by Archangel Kostjar to learn as much as they can about the possibly dangerous Emperor Orin that they accidentally set free, and why he seeks powerful items originating from the Great Dionic God Wars. Along the way, the group are stopped in the road by a small group of Cordian Protectorate Inquisitors who recognize Kilian as their countryman, and who identify Maraway as the hag that Kilian was sent to hunt down. While Kilian attempted to defuse the situation with explanations, one of the Inquisitor acolytes pulled off a sneak attack, stabbing him in the back. The Commander Inquisitor instructed his fighters to leave no survivors, but the group were fortunate enough to best their attackers before anyone was fatally injured. With one acolyte and Elena Mirny's huntress left alive, the commander chose to fall on his sword, rather than reveal why they attacked their own brother of the Protectorate. One of the surviving acolytes took the opportunity to run from the fight when the tide of battle turned, and Zada took off after him. Zada, you dash after him as soon as you have the chance, but the woods are quiet in his wake. He's been trained for situations just like this. Go ahead and roll an investigation or a survival check as you search for his tracks.
I'll definitely go with survival then, because I'm not the smartest cat. 19.
19, that's pretty good. Yeah, you pause, you don't let the panic get you slower, and you take a good look around, and you're able to spot in the slightly muddy floor of this woodland some pretty clear distress marks where someone would have quietly run through. So you go ahead and take off. Are you going at a full dash?
Oh yeah.
Okay, fab. Let me roll for him. That was pretty bad. And that was another bad roll. Okay. So, you take off after him, and you are speeding as fast as your lion legs can carry. I like to think that once again, you are like leaping from tree to tree, trying to catch this guy. Luckily, you warmed up pretty well with Kilian the day before, and soon enough, you're up in the trees, and you're looking down at him about 50 yards out from you. And you can see him trying to find a hiding spot as he kind of hears you rustling in the leaves behind him. Go ahead and roll just like one attack roll to see if you can close the distance and bring him down.
No, that's an 8.
That's an 8. Okay, you try. You're flying through these trees. You have him in your sights. And just at the last minute, you take your eyes off of him to go from like one branch to the ground to find a landing spot. And in that moment, he manages to duck and dive behind some bushes. And you come down onto the ground and you take a look around. You're kind of in this small clearing, and there's a couple different places he could be hiding. So roll a perception check to see if you can hear him or see him.
22.
Yeah, you do a feint, and you act like you're going over to the opposite way of where you can see just like the slightest difference in the movement of the leaves as a breeze rolls through. And you pretend you're going around one way, but you really double back and you come up behind him and grab him up by the throat. He starts kicking and trying to get away from you.
No, don't run. You've been caught.
Son of a bitch killed my commander and he's trying to fight and get away from you, but you've got a firm grip on him.
Now, to be fair, your commander killed himself, and then he's going to, as he's picking him up, try to... Yeah, he'll go put his palm or his paw up against his stomach, and I'm like, now if you keep on struggling, I'm gonna have to get a little violent with you. And Kilian really asked me not to, so keep doing it.
He goes a little bit more still, and he's got like death in his eyes while he glares at you, but he stops trying to fight you. And he says, "Put me down, I'll fucking walk."
Oh, of course. I'm gonna let him down, and as soon as he hits the ground, I am going to give the hardest kick I can to his leg to try to break it.
Oh, okay, roll an unarmed attack.
My God.
Against his AC.
Next time, just stab the guy.
Bone doesn't pop out.
17.
He died of blood loss.
17. Yeah, that. Jeez. Yeah, that beats his AC. Yeah. You break his leg. You break it at the shin or at the thigh.
Thigh.
Oh, the monster.
Oh.
That's the worst option.
It's gonna take forever to heal.
Yikes, man. Okay. Yeah, wow, ouch. He goes down hard and is just like, you all back where you were. They haven't gone quite far enough that you can't hear this blood-curdling scream of pain coming from this man that you just watched Zada run off after. And it's a sustained scream. He doesn't really stop screaming as he clutches at his leg on the ground.
He's gonna be hard to question.
From where
Well,
Bula is, and she hears that, and she's still just raging a little bit, and she just says, "Yeah!" Just foaming at the mouth a little bit. Still doesn't even quite know what's going on because the rage is still.
The archer, the huntress that you've been fighting this whole time is like drops to her knees and is like, I'm good, I'm done. You scared the shit out of her. The scream scared the shit out of her. Almost literally, but not quite. Zada, you gonna drag him back to the camp, or are you gonna keep torturing him in the woods?
No, I'm just, well, he's gonna, as he does that, he's sitting down, Zada's gonna get down on him, down next to him, he's like, now, listen to me very carefully. Kilian's gonna have a few questions for you. I'm gonna answer them. You don't, well, I'm gonna have a lot more fun. So, go ahead, answer his questions, because you can't run now. And, well, you really can't hide. You really suck at that. So, answer his questions. And we don't have to have any more fun things. He's like, oh, and also, so still been 10 minutes, so he's still in his, like, lightning form, and then he's going to shift. His mane's going to turn into the fire. His skin, like, he's going to do, his whole, like, going to turn into this, like, fire form, and he's going to grab the guy's arm, especially the spot, because this was an archer, right? From what I remember, right?
This guy was. Let me see. Yeah, I believe so.
So he's gonna grab his bow fingers, and he's going to bite both of them right off, and cauterize the wound at the same point in time because his fire on his fangs.
That's spicy.
We might be having to talk about Zada's alignment.
Ain't that the truth?
He
Yikes.
hurt his friends. And he has never said he will ever forgive anybody that does that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he is not an archer. He's a mage, but yes, it works all the same.
Oh,
He still really wants those fingers.
Thematic
That's-
component?
Oh, yeah, he uses those
yeah, somatic components. He knows
My-
what casting is. He
My
takes out
spell waving
his,
finger.
Yeah, he'll take out his he'll take out his fingers, a couple of his fingers.
Just as the screaming had died down, within a couple more seconds, you all back at the on the road hear the screaming start back up again, and this time there's Oysus curse you to the hells. Lots and lots.
No. Don't make promises you can't keep. And then I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds on him to make sure he doesn't go down.
Okay. The screaming
And I
climbing quiet.
drag him back because it doesn't fix broken legs, so he's still broken. And if Cure Wounds does break legs, I'm going to set it purposely wrong so it heals incorrectly.
Damn. Okay. Wow. Zada.
Spicy.
Incredible. Okay. Torture. That works. He comes back and he's not happy about it, but he's not fighting you.
Mm-hmm.
You guys see Zada finally reemerge from the trees as the screaming got louder and louder over the minutes of him dragging him back through the woods. And
Marway is gonna make his way that way towards the screaming, just to make sure this poor fellow is not actively dying.
yeah, he doesn't appear to be. He appears to he sounds like he's dying, but he's not. And yeah, Zada, you drop him at Kilian's feet
Yeah, I was dropping my Kilian's feet.
as the rest of you kind of gather back around. I like to think Bula has the archer woman at axe point.
Oh yeah.
And then
And keep her
as I
compliant.
drop him, I'm like, no, little rat. Remember my little promise to you.
Oh, he looks
Bula's
at
just not only has the woman at axe point, but she's kind of hovering over her enough that she's kind of drooling on her just a little bit, just from the foaming rage.
You guys are
Gross.
scary. That's terrifying.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to mess with you all. Yeah. He drops to the ground. He's just kind of staring. I mean, he's clutching his broken leg, clutching his hand that's now missing fingers, and is kind of staring at his fallen commander, who is impaled upon his own sword through the neck. And then his unconscious acolyte ally. And he says, I'll answer your questions, but I don't think it's going to be helpful.
Marway is going to point a finger at him with his long, pointy nails. And we're going to put a Fey Hex on him.
Are you
and he
flexing
is
with your
going to have-
fingers?
Yeah. And
I've got them all!
just one finger. We're gonna hex his charisma, so if he tries to deceive us, he has disadvantage on it.
Okay, nice.
Ooh.
Alright.
Kilian will seeing Marway, point the finger at him. Probably after the spell goes off, because he didn't get there in time. Kilian will just kind of put Marway's hands down and say, "We don't need them to think that you're some kind of some fey demon or anything. Please, just let me talk to them."
No, they know I'm the demon here.
Yes, clearly. Kilian will go over to the acolyte that's on the ground and just look over the wounds that Zada inflicted upon them. Kilian, if there's any way to do this, Kilian wants to try and channel his divine power and see if there's any way to, let's say, heal and set the bone properly with lay on hands.
Why don't you go ahead and tell me how many points worth of HP you're giving him?
What do I got? I got I'll do 15 if that's enough to do it.
Yeah, I'll roll a medicine check to make sure you can set the bone.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to use my human heroic inspiration to re-roll that because it was not good.
Okay.
All right, that's not much better. For a total of 10.
Giving him those 15 points. You said it, but it doesn't. You don't think it feels like it's going to heal like super well, but you said it well enough that you think probably given some time he'll be able to like walk on it again. So it's not irreparable. It's just not looking super. It's not painless, certainly, but you do heal him up so that it's no longer like broken, and with some splinting he could get up and walk on it.
And Kilian will just kind of bring the person over to like a nearby tree or something like that, and just kind of sit him down against the tree, and he'll look at him and say, "Now, brother, I'm going to take care of the fallen Inquisitor here, but when I'm done, I have some questions for you." And without even like waiting for a response, he'll start walking away, but he'll look to Zada and say, "Just keep an eye on him."
Oh, yeah. If you're walking to the Inquisitor, Zada's like pretty much undressing him right now.
And he'll look over. Kilian will look to Bula. If you be so kind to take his friend over there and just put him next to him.
Okay, so she's starting to come down just a little bit from the rage, but she kind of shoves and knees and elbows the other archer over there.
She complies easily. She's like, you don't gotta tell me twice. And she goes and sits down and offers her water skin to the injured Inquisitor.
She just has like a little bit of drool kind of dripping off of one side of her head. It's nice and thick and slimy. So
yeah, she tries to wipe it off, but it doesn't all come out.
Nice.
Gels to her head.
Yeah, just like that Rottweiler kind that just kind of just keeps going. Yeah.
Yep.
Kilian will go over to the fallen Inquisitor leader, and how are they currently dead? What are they like? How did they die? What position are they in?
So he fell forward onto his sword. So his sword is impaled like through where his like chest plate ended. So it's like just here at the base of the neck. So he really kind of like died choking on his blood.
Okay. And seeing that, Kilian will kind of just move the body to the side, withdraw the blade from its throat, and kind of place him in a position of like rest. Like he'll lay him on his back and across his arms over top, place the sword on top of him, and just making sure the eyes are closed. Kilian will just kind of mumble a small little prayer, just saying, "May you find your hands back to Oysus's embrace." And he'll spend like just a brief second or two kind of praying over the body. And
Giving that prayer, you feel almost like an ASMR reaction, like the tinglies when someone like scratches your head, like that, like very relaxing kind of sensation sort of emanate from your divine eye.
And then
he doesn't deserve that.
He's simply following orders. If I was in the same boat as these two acolytes here, I can't say I wouldn't have done the same.
Oh, I just think that you would have more sense than that.
Well, they were told that there was a hag in the area, and of course, Marroway is of the Fae. So needless to say, they jumped to conclusions, and I was not able to convince them. So the deaths are on me.
I feel like their deaths are on themselves.
Kilian will want to look through the Inquisitor's items and stuff like that to see if there's any documents or anything like that. Because he said that they were looking for, Fae specifically, and if I recall, they said they knew that I was there as well. Or, yeah. So I just want to kind of find the documents that say as much.
Yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
Would I know a prayer to my goddess and for a person to be unrested?
Do you
Oh
mean
my
like
gosh.
bring someone back, or like to send them to hell, kind of thing?
You mean the opposite
down.
of gentle repose?
To disrespect their remains.
Yeah. Make sure
no.
that I'll don't have a good time.
I would say especially your goddess of like war. She has all the respect for people who fall in battle, regardless of which side they were on. So she would want someone to be rested if they fell in battle.
All right.
So you can't think of any, but in your heart of hearts, you just say a prayer to her anyway, like, let this guy suffer a little.
It's like if he has to go, just make it the not nicest of the spots. Just not as good. Plus, he did kill himself. He did not die in battle. He killed himself. Cowardly.
That's actually true.
Sure did.
While they're fucking around with that body, I think Marroway is gonna kind of the archer that had shot at him that got the arrow in the eye to die. He's gonna kind of drag that body off of the road and start like tending to it to give it somewhat of a respectful final resting place. He's just gonna kind of like kneel down next to her and kind of try to remove the arrow and get her body cleaned up.
Yeah. You're able to do so. And as you're doing that, Kilian is searching through the pockets and the bag of the High Inquisitor, or of just the Inquisitor, and you find a small leather-bound book that's like tied with cord closed, like a notebook, and you also find the scroll. He had like mentioned, he like pulled out a scroll when he told you, they were there looking for Marroway or looking for the hag. You pull that scroll back out of his bag, and you open it up expecting to find like the same sort of order that you got to search for the hags. That's what he told you it was. Instead, you unroll it and you read it, and it's unmarked, it's unsigned, unlike any order you've ever been given from your superiors, which are always signed by whichever commander or inquisitor is sending you on the mission. This one is not signed, but it does appear to be, it's in the same language and on the same like type of scroll that you would normally get for your missions. And it is orders to bring Kilian Sadriv back to Cordia, dead or alive.
All right, and it just says Kilian.
Yes.
And unsigned, right?
Unsigned.
Oh, dang.
And then you open up that notebook. And it appears to be his own, like you keep your own, just like you keep your notebook of like clues and missions. This appears to be like his mission account book. And it's full of, you look at the most recent ones to follow his like movements around the middle continent. And they are detailed notes that originally start off tracking these hag witnesses. Specifically, he got to the middle continent, went to the smaller town of Agabuk, which is, to be a city just south of Tuzankin. And that appears to be where he Here's the first accounts of people spotting what in this account are a large orc woman and a hag by her side, quote unquote, terrorizing the local farms, stealing things for potions. Like, this is all like very like anecdotal evidence of people thinking they saw a hag or being frightened by two strange looking people using various forms of magic at times. None of the accounts seem to be like very troublesome, and you reading them, you're like, this is obviously not a hag. And even the Inquisitor, whose notebook this is, pretty quickly works out that like even noted like not a hag, but seen with, and then like he tracks him to the city of Tuzankin, and then it's full of all these first-hand witness accounts. Patrons of this place called the Buoyant Banshee reporting a satyr boy living in the inn. They track down Genevieve at the temple, and she reports to have seen you briefly. But in Inquisitor Ryson's words, she kept it close to her chest if she knew where you were going next. He has accounts of multiple sightings of the satyr with a strange group of people doing random bits of ritual magic on the streets of Tuzankin at random times, including a few near the suspected location of a local thieves guild. He has the account of a West Docks worker reporting that a Leonin, a satyr, and a group of warriors and mages left on a merchant vessel just after the death of their, like, commerce leader. And he is able to track down via just shipping ledgers that ship was going to Santapelli. And thus they took off on the road south, where they were able to meet all of you.
So essentially it says that discretion is not our strong point.
What do you mean?
So yeah, this appears to have been a very quick investigation.
Too easy.
It's not like we're all humans and really easy to just blend in with our surroundings.
It's not like any of you have even tried.
Yeah, so Kilian will just kind of read over a lot of this, just kind of flipping through that leather book, back and forth, kind of looking up to like where Marway is, and looking up, to the mention of the orc. So it's very likely they meant Bula in this situation. Does this Inquisitor Ryson have any kind of let's just say like Oysus, I don't want to say memorabilia, but I'm going to say memorabilia.
Swag.
Any religious paraphernalia.
Any freebies?
Got the whole uniform.
True.
It'll need to be cleaned though.
I mean, yeah, he has very similar. He has like a cloak pin that's pinned on his cloak, and it's the symbol of Oysus. He's got like much of the like even his plate mail armor is like done with like the crest of Cordia and a symbol of Oysus like on each shoulder. He is very clearly wearing all the regalia of the Protectorate.
All right. Yeah, I'm not gonna mess with that. I'll just kind of leave them as he lies there. I'm going to grab the knocked out acolyte and bring them over to the tree as well. I'm going to kind of like fireman style carry their body over and gently kind of lay them down next to the other ones. And Kilian will take a knee and look at the acolyte and just say, so how long have you been on our trail?
Give it 2 weeks, say, since we landed on the middle continent. You didn't make it hard to find you.
Yes, my friends here are quite boisterous, to say the least. Did the Inquisitor tell you who gave these orders?
That was above our rank. What I do know is that the orders for the Fae thing were secondary to our orders to find you.
And how do you feel hunting a member of the Order, one sworn to protect the people just like you are?
We've all sworn to protect the people. I follow orders. I could only assume that you had done something to cause Cordia strife or hardship, if the orders were coming from above.
I see. So you know nothing. Kilian will just kind of pause and just think for a little bit. He'll look over to Zada. He'll look back to the acolyte and say, now, I'm of the mind to leave you two here, to wait for him to wake up, and for you to properly take care of the Inquisitor. Give them the proper burial that they deserve. But my friends here might not be so kind. So, I wish to help you bury the Inquisitor. And in so, making sure my friends don't finish the job that he did in the Force to you. Are you agreeable to this?
I am agreeable to this honorable request.
And in doing so, and in sparing your lives from their wrath, not mine, I hope that you'll report back that your mission was a success. But Commander Ryson lost his life in the battle against our group here, against the Fae hag that you claim to be here for. Is this trade worth your lives? Are you agreeable to this?
Roll persuasion with advantage.
Can I, kind of feeding off of that divine buzzing that I got from earlier, I would like to use a little bit of guidance on myself for my persuasion
Yeah.
skill.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Definitely.
All right.
Also, go ahead and add a flat 2 to whatever you get from Eden.
Okay, because it was a nat 20 anyways.
Excellent.
So 25, 6, 28, 27 total.
Ooh.
Okay. He leans back and he takes a long moment to consider what you're asking him to do. And he says, have you ever lied to the Protectorate?
I've maybe left out some things of the truth. I know it's not an easy task to do so.
He kind of looks over at the archer woman, and she gives him like a shrug and a little bit of a nonverbal approval. And he looks you long in your non-celestial eye and says, I don't know why the Protectorate want you arrested, want you dead. You don't seem the sort to have betrayed Oysus. I will claim you fell. And I will likely be promoted for the effort. I don't feel I deserve the fate that will follow me.
And I wish you good fortune on your rise through the ranks, brother. But for now,
Kilian,
yeah.
you only need one to deliver a message.
He
No.
looks at the unconscious one and says, Keska,
No.
Keska, the Lionin is right. You should speak with Keska when they awaken. They likely know more than I did. I'll go back alone. And you can decide what to do with Keska after you have a conversation.
I'm keen on keeping you around until this Keska wakes up.
I'm quite at your disposal, aren't I?
We'll see what happens whenever they wake up. But for now, I have some burial duties to attend to.
Morrow.
You call for Morrow, and you see that he's like literally like brushing this lady's hair that just tried to attack him, with tears coming out of his eyes as he's singing what sounds like a lullaby. Eidos would be able to understand what he's saying. But essentially it's a lullaby about the final rest and the soul moving on to somewhere peaceful.
I'll go over to Morrow, kind of put my paw on his shoulder and be like, they don't deserve your respect.
It is because of me that they died.
It's because of
Their
themselves
anger
they
and
died.
they died trying to find someone they thought was evil. That is not
They
the
were not-
fault.
They were not looking for someone evil. They were looking for us. And then they tried to take us. And
Because they were deceived.
I'm sure most of them knew what they were doing. But anyways, you have a healing spells, right?
Yes.
You're the one that's unconscious. Get them up so we can question them.
Okay. Bula, could you cut down some of these trees so we can make a pyre for them?
I'll look at Morrow. No. Make their death mean something. Strip them. Let the carrion beast take them. At least they'll be worth something than death. For the beasts to have a full belly tonight.
Bula kind of goes past Zada, and her rage has kind of left at this point, and she just kind of shoulder checks him and says, "Yeah, I can get some wood."
Going to walk over to the unconscious one and yeah, we're just gonna give him a level 1 cure wound.
How many HP does that bring him?
14.
The injured acolyte, the one who's been talking, Palin, sees you doing this, nervously watches, then sees her start to wake up and, Keska, are you all right? And she comes to, and she just kind of like rises up onto an elbow and reaches for weapons that you've taken off of her, and she like takes in the surroundings, sees Inquisitor Ryson dead on the ground, sees the one that you were just kind of cleaning their body and making presentable dead, and lays back down and covers her eyes with her arm and says, that's That's that, isn't it?
Kilian will walk over and once again kind of get down on a knee, just to look them in the eye and say, your fellow brother Acolyte Palin here is says that he doesn't quite know too much about your mission, simply following the orders of Inquisitor Ryson. I was hoping that you'd be able to shed a little bit more detail about maybe who gave the order to Ryson to come find me and my friend here.
She looks at Acolyte Pollen, who's seen better days. She takes in his broken leg, takes in his missing fingers, and she kind of like scoffs at him and rolls her eyes and looks back at you and says, as she like tries to sit up, pretty injured, pretty bruised from the battle. We knew that we had to arrest you quietly and bring you back, and if that was not to happen, we knew we had to end your life here. She says, I don't have proof. Only a passing comment Reeson made. I believe you've somehow crossed High Inquisitor Voss. And if that's the case, I pray to Oysus you find safety from him. He will not give up. If he sent us to hunt you, we are but the first.
And Kilian will just kind of, at the mention of the name, like just kind of start rubbing his temples and very gently just touching his headband and just under his breath. But very clearly you'll just hear him say, "Fuck."
He says, "Fuck is right, my friend. I thought, us killing you here on this road was a kinder death than what awaits you if you've somehow made Voss think that you've betrayed Cordia."
I'm taking you have a good friend with this Voss.
Something I'd rather talk to you all about in private, away from these acolytes here.
We won't be acolytes much longer if we go back without your head, but be my guest.
Well, perhaps your friend here, Alan, can talk a little bit about the bargain that we may have struck. And I'll just kind of like, Kilian will gesture over to Alan and say, just like, tell him.
He starts to fill her in on your conversation, what he's going to do next. She doesn't seem like especially pleased. She definitely doesn't seem like she believes that they'll be in the clear, especially with Inquisitor Reeson dead. But she seems like resigned to it at best. Like, guess that's what's happening then.
So we are in agreement then?
I'm not.
No one asked you.
Sounded like an open question.
She says, here's what's going to happen. Palin and I are going to go back to Cordia. We're going to tell them that though Ryson fell, we somehow bested you and a hag, and the rest of these people. We have no proof. What will you send with us to make that a realistic end for him? We require his case notes. We require something.
Why don't you just tell him the truth, that you were told by him to fight, we let you go. Kindly.
Because Voss will not rest with a mission uncompleted. And we are mere acolytes. He will send the force, the entire force, if he must.
Kilian will kind of nod in understanding, and he'll grab his bag, and inside his bag, his old set of leather armor is still in there from when he first came to Lena Mirna. On the back of it, typically where there's like a like the family, well, there is like the family crest of the Sodrivs in like a very small print, kind of close to like the nape of the neck, usually hidden by the cloak of the Protectorate. Kilian will like hand over this, hand over the leather to them and say, this leather bears the symbol of the Sodriv family. Take this as your evidence that I was slain in battle.
She runs a thumb over the leather and says, it's better than nothing, thank you. And you're wise to know that faking your death is the best way out of whatever mess you've gotten into.
That's if they decide to actually tell the truth, Kilian. You know that this is a risk.
It's a risk I'm willing to take.
It's a risk that we will not forget. She like elbows Paladin and he goes, nope, won't forget that anytime soon. Nope. I believe the term is we're in your debt.
Only takes one to deliver a message.
Well, if you can take anything from this encounter, just know that the rumors of the Sodrivs are greatly exaggerated. We are not the heartless ones that they claim to be.
She says, if you were, I have a feeling we wouldn't be having this conversation, would we? I thank you for letting us leave with our lives. I repay my debts. I was a Cordean before I was a Protector. And I will remember.
Well, maybe we meet again at the People's Home of Cordia. Now, I believe we are to light a pyre for the Inquisitor. And Kilian was get up and start grabbing like branches, kindling, stuff like that, hearing the chops of Bula's axe into a tree.
Yeah.
She's
She's already managed to.
Like, decent sized logs, one under each arm that she's dragging behind her. And as she sets them down there, she starts where the bodies are. She starts making them into smaller pieces where she can kind of start stacking them up.
You do so much for people. That
Kilian, we do not need the little twigs.
Let's just to start the fire, and then
We will not
Big
need
logs.
that to start the fire.
oh,
And with that, I'm going to summon Hearth with a second level spell slot.
Cool.
So she's a little bigger and a bit more fiery than normal.
Bula just kind of sidles up to Zada and she says, I don't do it for them. I do it for Marway. She just kind of shoves him again to be quiet.
Stefan comes back out of the woods. You guys didn't see her leave after all the fighting stopped, but she comes back up now with a bag, and it's full of different like wildflowers and like pretty leafy plants and things that she starts like laying around the pyre quietly. She
Just
says,
undress them and leave them for the carrion beast. They'll do the work for you as long as there's no armor.
Bula
you
steps on
go.
his foot.
Ow.
Are there bodies on the pyre at this point?
Yeah. So the one just kind of citizen who died and the Inquisitor are both up on the pyre.
You see Maraway like kneels down to Hearth, who's in front of him, And Eidos would understand him saying to her, it is time to do our solemn duty once again. As she flies over the pyre and begins to light a brilliant fire upon it.
Zada's not going to stick around. He's going to spit and then just walk away. Spit at the pyre and then just walk away from them. Go do some hunting.
Chiffon gives you a dirty look and goes over and holds Marway's hand and starts singing quietly. And she's not the best singer, but in minor tones, starts singing some foreign language, Song of Mourning, as the fire lights. And you all watch as this Inquisitor of the Protectorate, unfortunately, burns along with this citizen who may or may not have believed that a hag was amongst his little town some time ago. And the sun begins to set finally, and you've lost a bit of travel time, but you decide this is as good a place as any to settle in for the night. Eventually, the two acolytes come over to Kilian, and they've made they've wrapped injuries and made a makeshift splint for Palin, and they exchange a few quick words of thanks again, and one of them hands you the second one. What's her name? Casca hands you her personal amulet of Oysus and says, I will do what I can back in our home country to give you time, and that may be the best I can offer.
I'll take all the time I can get.
And she says, for the homeland, and gives you a nod and leaves with Palin under her arm.
And Kilian will just watch them leave, kind of just keeping an eye on them for as long as he can see them, basically.
A little bit of a pang of homesickness, but at the same time, just this like heavy confusion and sense of loss at what just transpired.
Sada's gonna tail them for a little bit while he's like into the forest, kind of make sure that that's where they're going, and then just see if they do anything strange to the forest, and then after probably like 100 feet or so, come back if they don't do anything weird.
Yeah, they appear to, they're leaving pretty somberly, pretty quietly.
Actually, Zada will go up to them as he's leaving, as they're like far away from the group. He'll come up behind them and be like, you ever come up against my friends again, you'll wish that you died.
Palin kind of like, that's not a mistake I'll be making anytime soon. Don't worry, Lion. And Kessa like whacks him on the back of the head and says, shut up. We will be scarce, don't worry. And she drags him back along, giving you a look over her shoulder as they leave.
Edis will go up to Kilian as the fire burns and Zada does his creepy stalking thing. And he'll just kind of pat him on the shoulder and say, we don't have to talk strategy now, I suppose, unless you want to, but just wanted to check to see if you're okay.
Kilian will just be like just very blankly staring into the fire, almost barely noticing the touch on his shoulder. But as you start to talk, Eidos, he'll kind of snap out of it and say, No, I think it's probably about time we talk about a little bit about me and what happened here tonight.
I think it might be in the interest of everyone at this point, I'm afraid. Your past is caught up to you.
Yes, seems so. Where's Zata?
Oh, it's out pouting somewhere, I'm sure, stalking. He'll be back soon, I'm sure. And if not, then he'll have fallen off a cliff into a ravine or something. He'll cry out.
Well, we'll wait for him to get back, and then I'll talk to all of you about what happened.
Yeah. You'll see Zara come back. He'll just not really say anything. He'll just go up to Mjolnir and just be petting him. Taking care of him, tending him.
He seems like he's had a shaky day. His eyes are he's falling asleep as he stands there. It's been a weird couple days for this little mule.
Yeah. He'll take him, unhitch him from the cart, give him a nice little spot.
Kilian will, I assume we have probably not just a funeral pyre going, but probably like a campfire or something like that as well.
Yeah, Zara would have started working on the camp. That's what he's doing. He's not going to be helping with the funeral rites at all.
So Kilian will sit down near the fire and start kind of grabbing some of the personal effects that he's had with him the entire time. He's going to grab a letter that he got from his brother. He's going to grab the letters that he got from Genevieve. And he'll sit down and kind of gesture to everyone to kind of come sit down. So it appears that as you say, Eidos, my past has come back to haunt me, and I suppose I need to start from the very beginning with a proper introduction. My name is Kilian Sodriv, and I come from a long line of Sodrivs that are well known in Cordia. In fact, my family is descendants from the heroes of Corden, the heroes that broke the Dionic era curse on the land of Cordia almost 7 centuries ago. And over the years, my family has held an illustrious position in Cordia as high-ranking members of the Protectorate of Oysus. We've always been skilled with dealing with monsters and demons alike. And in our many years of battle and in dealing with the darkness of the world of Cordia, unfortunately, rumors of my family have spread across the continent, and the rumors are quite unsavory. The people believe that in order to do battle against the darkness of the world, that the Sodrivs needed to tap in to dark power themselves. But that couldn't be further from the truth. The Sodrivs were an elite fighting force that had many years of training and education in learning how to deal with these dark threats that loom over Cordia. We've always been on the side of good, but as I'm sure many of you know, rumors can sometimes be more powerful than any action that we may take. And it does not take long for rumors to spread and for rumors to take root as history amongst people. When I was 8 years old, and Kilian will rub his headband as he talks about this. He says, when I was 8 years old, my mother was killed by a demon attack on our home. Our home that was supposed to be safeguarded and protected by divine blessings from the Protectorate. Something that night gave way, and it allowed for demons to take the life of my mother, Vanya. She's the one that weaved this for me, as he kind of caresses his headband. I never leave too far without this. The only memory that I have of her. But now, I have other things. And Kilian will pull out the letters that he got from Genevieve and kind of... He'll hand them over to Eidos first, just kind of letting him look through them. And Kilian will take the letter from his brother, Julian. And when I returned from my pilgrimage throughout Cordia, I returned to my home in Thronfo. My home was at Watcher's Point, and I found this letter waiting for me there. It's a letter from my brother, Julian. And it details a plot to destroy the Sodger family. Since the night of my mother's passing, my father grew very, very paranoid, thinking that there was some conspiracy to attack our family. Needless to say, only very recently did I discover that that plot might be true. And it's cataloged in the letters that my mother wrote. My mother seemingly discovered some kind of plot within Cordia's high-ranking ministers, and even within the Protectorate themselves. They're looking for something. They're looking for something on Cordia that could possibly rewrite the history of Dion itself. Tapping into the power of some long-forgotten god that has been lost to history. But they appear to have found some kind of gate that's in Thorseven in Cordia. I don't know how deep this conspiracy goes, but if my mother's words are to be believed, and I believe them to be true, and given the situation that we just encountered today, it appears that this conspiracy goes all the way up to the High Inquisitor, one of the highest ranking and leader of the Inquisitors, Aaron Voss, might have something to do with this. I don't know why they're looking to rewrite the history of Dion itself. From what I understand, the history of Cordia is a heroic one, filled with cleansing a land of its cursed magic and bringing it into the revolution that it's encountered to this very day. But I need to keep my cards close to my chest most of the time, as the Sodger name tends to leave a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths, as we are not looked upon with the highest of regard as we once were in our glory days, especially amongst the people of Cordia. I wasn't too sure about how I would be received here in the Middle Continent, but it doesn't seem to be that our name holds too much influence amongst the people here, so that's where we are now. And I still believe in the mission of the Protectorate. I can't let my ideals be corrupted by a few that would use their position to get their own benefit. I need to do something about this. But I need to do it in a way that brings back the purity and what the Protectorate actually stands for. So as much as I wish I could have ended the lives of those acolytes for doing harm to me and doing harm to my friends, It's not Oysus's way to just blindly kill someone when mercy can be given to them. And I hope that's something that you can understand, Zata, even though it might not be in line with what Ere teaches. It's in line with what Oysus teaches.
Oh, yeah. No, that's not Ere. Die in battle, whatever. Me, I should let anybody back my friends. And I am sorry this happens to you. I don't really know anything that's going on. But know that any of your enemies are my enemies. And you can use me as a tool of vengeance to kill, harm, destroy anybody that you see fit. Just point the way. I'll make a path for you. And also turn to Marway. The same goes for you. Anybody ever attacks any of you, they will get either a swift, merciful death or a slow one, depending on how bad they hurt you.
And Kilian will just kind of, after kind of telling his story, will just look around to everyone and kind of just look back into the fire and just be holding the letter that he got from Julian, and he's just kind of just staring rather blankly down at it, just kind of waiting for someone to say anything, really.
Marway is gonna get up and sit next to Kilian. And you see he has his journal in front of him. I know what it's like to lose your mother. And I know what it's like for everyone you care about to be taken from you. Sometimes I find that if you write to them like they're still here, it can make you feel connected to them. He kind of flips open his book and you just see lines and lines of this Sylvan writing. Every night and every morning, I write to my mother. I know that she'll never get to read it, but it still makes me feel like I can talk to her. You could try that. It might help you a little bit.
And Kilian will kind of just take his arm around Marway and say, it's important to keep their memories close. You have your words, and I have this. But I do think I will take up your writing. There are many things that I would love to tell my mother if I had the chance.
You remind me of someone very dear to me. He was a very brave knight. His name was Sir Muldrusen. He was the Queen's right hand and protector of all of the citizens of Sanctuary. He too believed that people could be redeemed and people should be saved even when they do bad things. And with that, he's going to pull out one of his orange calendula flowers. I want you to know that we might not know each other very well yet, but I still see you as family. And he's going to pass him the flower.
Kilian will take it and say, thank you, Marway. I appreciate your words. And you'll see Kilian just kind of tuck the flower in his headband.
Like I said, I don't know all that's going on, but if you ever need somebody to do something you can't or won't, you need something to knife to pierce the darkness, take out somebody, be a tool of vengeance, do something that you don't want to do or something unsavory, just let me know. I'll take care of all the problems.
I'm glad to have your strength at my side, Zada. It might be needed in the future.
Bula's just kind of on the side, and she's eating something. You're not quite sure what or where she got it from, but she's chewing on something. And she just looks at him and she says, You got my axe.
Thank you, Bula. I appreciate your strength and your power in these coming days for sure.
Well, if Marway approves of you, it can't be all bad.
Ados will walk over and sit next to him too. Just kind of like give his arm a squeeze and nod and say, well, looks like we have maybe one more stop on the itinerary.
Well, I'm certain that at some point Voss is going to send more assailants after me whenever it's discovered that I am still alive. But I just want you all to know that no matter what happens, I'll be the one that takes the blade. I won't let that happen to any of you.
As Kilian says this, Serafina will kind of walk over and she'll like pick up his hair and is inspecting it, and will say, "Have you thought about a makeover now that you faked your own death?"
Might take me a little while to grow out my hair, but it might not be a bad idea. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to cover this though, and he just kind of gestures to his eye.
We can try dyeing your hair too. I've never done it, but I think it might work.
With as detailed as the description is of every single person in this party, I think we could all use with a freshen up of style. I'm afraid we're a little too obvious.
Good luck with that with me.
Yeah.
But maybe we should talk about that a little bit, and Kilian will just bring out the book from the Inquisitor there and say, they very easily tracked us. We aren't quiet wherever we go. They easily followed us all the way from Tuzenkin to Santapelli. So perhaps we should be a little bit more nonchalant with our actions in the coming city that we're heading to.
Let them come. We killed one, we can kill the rest.
I hope they don't come, though. Maybe we can not invite them explicitly. Now that people are looking for us, I kind of thought for a while that nobody would care, but it seems we've gathered attention, unfortunately.
Well, next time we meet some triumvirate on the street, I'll know to come up right behind him and try to kill them first.
Well, when they do come, and Eros will pretend to wipe blood off his staff, it's not there. I'll be ready for them, as we all will be. I can't help but notice similarities in your story, Kilian, with that of the uninvited ones that these parties are trying to bring back. Do you think that it might be connected somehow?
I believe you probably still have the notes from my mother Vanya. And in there, Kilian will say, from what my mother gathered, this conspiracy, these people looking to bring back this god, it doesn't seem to be one of the uninvited ones. The uninvited ones are, we know the names of the deities that are the uninvited ones, and the ones that were described in the letter, Arun, I'd never heard of such a deity before. I don't know if any of you have in your travels.
Good thing we're going to a giant library.
Sure, something to look up while we're there.
Not a bad idea. I didn't totally slip my mind. But it seems as though whatever power they wish to derive from this god, it will come from the abyss, and nothing ever good comes out of the abyss.
Alright. With a whole lot to consider now, and a lot revealed, everybody begins to just kind of quietly break off to set their tents, get in their bedrolls, and go down for the night. You take shifts to watch, and nothing crazy happens. We're gonna go ahead and take a break before we get to the following morning. So, we will be back in about 10 minutes. So 9:40 if you're on the East Coast, Eastern Time. 8:40 Central Time. So stick around.
The hour, anytime.
Yeah, past the hour. Stick around. We're gonna play those 3 minutes of ads. Yes, cast time dilation, make it shorter. That'd be very helpful. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. We'll see you all in a few. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back! Thank you all for waiting. I hope those ads were amazing and that you bought all the things that they advertised.
Everything that you ever wanted.
Yes. But somehow it was just what you needed at just the right moment.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so you've all learned quite a bit about Kilian and his backstory. You're on the road, you all take your turns, taking watch overnight. And as the sun is coming up, Maraway, you're on watch. What are you doing as the sun rises?
As everyone else is sleeping, Maraway's gonna slowly kind of try to be sneaky over to Kilian's tent. And he's going to reach into his little bag and pull out a little chess piece. And it's the Black Knight, and kind of set it next to Kilian as he's sleeping. And then go back to watch and being responsible. And writing in his journal.
Yeah. Kilian, you find that when you eventually wake up as the sun rises on this ever increasingly warm day, even though you're traveling north, we are getting into the warmer season. And everybody starts to kind of rise naturally.
Kilian would just kind of smirk at seeing this little chess piece. And he'll carry it with him.
You did notice, those of you who took your watch overnight, eventually your own pyre burns down to ash. And that new darkness as the fire eventually simmers down to embers reveals on the horizon, on the not too distant horizon, just above the trees, you see this dim but noticeable orange light. Almost like the light of a fire or many fires in the distance. Just one end of the horizon is really glowing in one particular place.
Is it where we're going or where we came from?
It is
Or-
the direction you're heading.
Perfect.
That's the bad direction.
Melanie, you being from this continent, having traveled a good amount, you know that along this road that you're traveling to Osled, there is another coastal city, smaller than Santapelli, but not very different than Santapelli. Definitely a port city more than a vacation city, but still a place where the wealthy go for vacation or where people would retire to for that sea air. So you know that that's the next city you would be coming to on your travel. The road literally goes through this city. And it appears to kind of be in that general direction. So you think maybe that city is, that you're seeing this lights coming from that city.
Is anybody else seeing this? And she'll just gesture towards the weird light.
Yeah, even as the sun is coming up that morning, there's smoke coming up from the horizon in the same kind of area where you were seeing the lights the night before.
What is the name of the port city called? I'm sorry, I think I missed that.
That's okay. It's hold on a second. Did I write it down? It's Epimerdi.
Epimerdi.
Epemerdi.
Epimerdi. Guys, I think Epimerdi is on fire.
Yeah, it might not be there when we get there. So, I mean, one less stop, right?
Either that or somebody's having a real big barbecue, and I'm here for that.
Or maybe we
We
should
should-
see
we should
if they're in
probably look.
trouble. Yeah.
I think we gotta go. We gotta go. Serafina will cast Unseen Servant to try to wrap up the things.
Oh, finish getting camp already.
I mean, we don't have to. We have other things we can do. We could literally just avoid that and go exactly where we need to go. Keep a low profile, remember? Helping people is probably not a good low profile.
But it might be a barbecue.
How far away are we from this town?
I mean,
You would ask Serafina, and you're like less than a half a day's walk from the town. It's not far.
We're close. We're close.
Again, we
I
can just-
send.
go around it.
I'm going to send Eden 100 feet straight up into the air.
Okay.
And then I want to see through her eyes to see if we can discern if it is in fact the town on fire or if they're just having a bomb barbecue.
Sure,
Do
yeah.
we smell meat wafting?
Bomb barbecue.
Can she sniff the air?
Yeah, like,
So yeah, you send her up into the air, and indeed, after she gets so high, it's a like beautiful clear day. The city is you're like more inland. This road took you a little bit inland as you went up this peninsula, and then you would turn to go like closer to the coast as you come around the bay. And Epimerdi is on the bay, so she's facing the ocean. And she does see, it's a low city. It's not like tall and towering like Suntapelli. It's a very low city with like these blue domed roofs and mirror nets spiring from each of the four walls. And it doesn't look like, I mean, she's far away and it's light now, so it's hard to tell, but it doesn't look like the city is on fire per se. It just appears like the smoke is coming from not just everywhere, it's coming from like specific points, kind of. It's smaller little bits of smoke that, seeing it from the ground, it's all kind of spread out and starting to like blow in the wind, so it looks more like a bigger fire, but it's a bunch of smaller fires around the city.
So it's a bomb-ass barbecue competition. Yeah, I'll relay that with everyone.
see, they're fine. We can just go around, just ignore it, just keep going to where we're supposed to be going. They're fine.
No, we need to check things out. It's a port city. We need to make sure they're okay, or everything's going to be crazy expensive for the next few weeks on our travels.
We just live off the land. It's perfectly fine. I can get us food. There'll be no problems. We don't have to get involved. We could just go right. around.
Melanie, you do know that going through the city is like the fastest way to where you're going. Going around would be going far around.
I am not walking that far. Time to go. We need to figure out what is going on in Epimerdi.
Go
The
right
city that I
through.
love. at this
Just
point.
go right through it and not worry about anything that's going on. That's, I mean, just that's the fastest way. We just go through, keep our heads down, and just straight through. No
Okay, we can
problems.
just scope things out while we're passing through. Perfect. We're on the same
Sure.
page.
Yeah.
We'll go.
Because if it's a
Run through.
barbecue, I'm stopping.
Well, yeah. Well, obviously, if it's a barbecue, we could just grab some stuff on the way as we go. We can take like an hour break, but you know, their problems aren't our problems.
I can eat a
Well, let's
lot of
get up into
barbecue
the
in an hour.
carriage. Let's get them moving. And Mjolnir, are you ready to go?
Oh no.
Junior is always ready to go. He's a fierce warrior.
Seraphina's like already in the carriage with all her stuff ready.
Ados has been in the carriage, just listening to you guys talk.
And I'll be walking next to Mjolnir.
Yeah, I'll take the reins for Mjolnir.
Okay. Fabulous. Yeah, you all take off, and eventually the forest kind of thins out to farmland. As you get closer to the city, you get to like some smaller villages, slightly bigger towns, sort of, for lack of a better word, like the suburbs of another city. And before midday, you are able to see the gates of Upper Merity up ahead. It's this like large, low-walled city, just before the long strip of beach on this part of the continent, overlooking a really pretty blue water bay. Lots of docks you can see on either side of the city along the beach. And you do, as you get closer, you do see the smoke of bonfires, not necessarily bonfires themselves happening, but you see, burned down overnight bonfires, especially on the other side of the city. Like, there's not a lot of space. The city itself is very, like, stone, but it looks like there would be something happening on the beach, or has been something happening on the beach the night before. And the road, eventually there's more people on the road. People start making small talk, people traveling into the city. And there's this, like, small group of dwarves with a big old covered wagon traveling near you, coming to the city, and one of them says, "Hi, fellow Epimerity travelers, eh? Are you coming in for the festival?"
Is there food tents?
Sure.
One at a time.
Are there food tents?
There's almost nothing but food tents and markets. It's the annual Merfolk marketplace. So you're not traders.
Yes.
That's good. You're not competition. Good. And they all kind of like speed up and pass you, trying to get into the city before you. And yeah, you...
walk in just like a little bit faster.
Serafina, did you hear the mermaids?
We need to go check this out right now.
Do we?
Zada, you heard Bula's magic word. Food tents.
Well,
So-
I mean, food tents, we definitely have to stop for that, but do we need to, like, do anything else except for grab a bite and keep going?
Have you ever seen the mermaid?
No.
Oh, we are on our way. Oh, Zada, you're gonna love it.
You all make your way into the city gates and through to the other side of the city, which opens up into this large, beautiful, like, luxurious beachfront. There's just, like, I mean, it's like everything a resort is. There's, like, beach chairs all lined up, lots of umbrellas stuck in the sand, a bunch of, like, fabric tents that have been popped up for merchant stalls, and a couple, like, walkable piers that go out in, like, a big U shape into the water, out really far. And you see out past those piers, there are pop-up tents that have been erected from the water itself. And people with boats going out to those tents and shopping. And on the beach, you see the remnants of a whole line of hundreds of bonfires. There's one every, like, 50 feet or so, from the night before, from, this large, bizarre market that's happening on this beachfront. And even though it's midday, so it's poppin', there's lots of people coming and going. There are large ships docked way out in the ocean that have sent people in to shop. It's a lot going on.
So Bula's nose immediately just starts twitching in the air. She's just like,
Yeah. You smell the first thing your nose leads you to is a big old roasting boar on a spit, just going round and round.
yes,
You see it like
does.
sizzling and popping, and all these herbs. This like herbed butter is being rubbed on it constantly as it spins around on the spit. And
Just like immediate drool.
yes.
Coming into a
She's gonna head straight for that.
And going into this crowd of people, Kilian's gonna like grab the he's gonna grab the eye patch that he has in his backpack. He's just gonna like whoop, slip that on over his eye.
Seraphina quickly changes into her beach cover-up and tries to figure out how to get a boat to the little stations. Like, they're on the water, right?
They're out in the water, yeah.
Yeah.
So you go out to one of the piers where you see these little dinghy boats are like just kind of making rounds, taking people out to the merfolk shopping and all these like tents that are erected in the water itself. And you get in line. You're just standing in. It's a pretty long line to get out there on a boat. There are some you see now that you're out on the pier. You see some of the merfolk have swam in with some like small like baskets of wares. You've got there's a merman is selling. He's got this like blue-green skin and like fins going down both arms, and this like long blue-black hair, and all of these like twists and braids. And he has a large basket from which he's selling like their individual little packaged colored pearls and things that he's selling.
Seraphina's gonna nudge Zada and like raise her eyebrow and be like, "Told you it'd be worth it."
That, as they say, is the eye of the beholder. I'm gonna take care of Mjolnir.
Go right back to land. You're like, I'm not about this long pier. He like sees you staring at him, Seraphina, and he just gives you a wink, and you look like you enjoy the time of the day. He dips underwater and comes back up and shakes out his braids.
I just imagine Marway and Seraphina just both like, you know, when the high school girls are like holding hands, squealing a little bit. For very different reasons, of course.
He's eating it up. You see there's like a small little like reef shark swimming around him. Like a little puppy. He gives a little treat. He's selling, he's doing business. He's trying to sell some of these like very colorful pearls that he's hawking. Yeah, you wait in line for a while. Bula, you managed to get a whole leg of that roast boar.
Yeah, she does.
Walking around with it like it's a turkey leg.
It's delicious.
Yeah, Zada, you and Mjolnir are, you know, hanging out. He does not like the sand. You've like left the cart on like the stone walkway, and Mjolnir like will not go much further.
I feel you, buddy. We don't have to go anywhere. We'll just be here together.
Kilian would have very stealthily gotten the other boar leg that Bula, if she didn't eat it already, if there's anything left, take that portion.
There's 4 legs on a boar. You could get one of the other 3. Yeah, you're snacking. Eventually, one of the dinghies, it's your turn next, and one of the dinghies comes around. There's a small gnome woman kind of paddling it for you, and she takes you out into the water about 100 feet and to one of the first of the merchant tents that Seraphina and Marway want to shop at. This one is selling all of these, like this array of different seashells, like round conch shells, big like ones that they've like actually put hinges on, the clam shells, so that they're like little jewelry boxes, and like ones that are just like actual like bones of sea animals that they've like sculpted and like tied together and made into these like different like useful little tools and things. Like there's like a whole knife set made of fish bone. It's just like kind of an artisan's tent, this one, using like naturally occurring coral and shells and different things that can be harvested in the ocean. And the mermaid here is she's a mermaid woman, and she has no hair. She just has this like one long dorsal fin that as she's kind of talking, it just like opens and closes up and down her head, and ears that she like dips below to breathe in the water every now and then. And she says in very poor common, she says, would like buy? Yes?
Marway, what do you think of these seashell necklaces? She'll like hold
They're
them.
very pretty. You should get one.
Seraphina will say, "How much?"
You buy for 1 gold piece.
I'm sure you can do better than that.
Where's the
Roll
haggle?
persuasion.
$22.
22. She like smiles and laughs and she says, you buy for 8 gold piece. 8 silver piece. Not good at comment. Me or her.
Seraphina will thank her and give her a wink and hand over the 8 silver, and she'll like put on the necklace.
It's
Like,
very pretty.
"Marway."
It's got like all these little matching like spiral. They're almost like snail shells, but they're all like that pearlescent kind of fabric or texture on the outside of them. So it's very pretty. Matches
Pleasure
your
doing
bikini.
business with you.
Pleasure is mine. She like dips below the water and
You said it
you're both-
matches my what? I'm sorry.
it matches your bikini.
Ooh, perfect.
You come up to the next tent, and it is way more full. There's like these like giant turtles, these giant sea turtles that have all the wares on their back at this tent because there's too much for them to just like float on the planks of wood the other tents are using. And they are open chests of like dried spices and different like raw metals and materials. It looks like just a bunch of different like raw materials for all kinds of different things. There's like salts, there's bottles of liquor, there's all kinds of things here. And the merman, he looks exactly like the one back at the docks. And he says, I make a living finding shipwrecks and redistributing what I find. This has all been reclaimed from the goddess of the sea herself. And he shows you, and it really is like all these different trade goods in their like original chests that they went down in. He says, you can buy wholesale or you can buy individual items.
Are any of these like gems?
Yeah. There's definitely like it's not all, it looks like a variety of different things that he has put together and like organized as one thing of gems. Like anything he found that was like actual polished metals, like precious metals, precious gems. He even has like a giant diamond, and it's one of the first diamonds you've like seen on this continent. Diamonds are not like the easiest to come by, but it's this giant, perfect, clear diamond with like all these beautiful facets cut in it, and it's just loose. And then an array of different smaller gems, and lots of gold and silver and bronze jewelry.
How much for the diamond?
It is worth 300 gold. It's a 300 gold size diamond. It's about 3 inches across. He says, this one is special, obviously, the best of the wares that I have. And I was actually saving it for the contest later.
There's a contest?
There's a contest. Have you not been to a Primarity before?
No, I'm not really from these parts.
Well, we gather here once a year to trade with the land folk, and therefore it has become a bit of a celebration for the locals. And every year we have a few small competitions in the name of friendly trade and jest. And I was saving this one for the pearl diving competition. Some lucky person will find more than a pearl.
Serafina, we should sign up for that.
Tell me about this pearl diving competition.
He kind of like points over to the east, down the lane, and he says, over at the tide pools there, we distribute all these pearls, and my brother's pearls specifically are distributed on the floor of all the tide pools, and it is as it sounds. The person who goes down and retrieves the most of the pearls wins the prize. The person who retrieves the diamond wins the diamond.
Serafina is like holding the diamond on her hand as if it would be a ring. It's like, do you think this is too big for me?
I don't really know if it would work very well for on your hand. It's a little big.
I think it's working.
We should try to get it no matter what, though.
Yeah.
Then we can figure out how to accessorize it.
I don't know if I'm the best pearl diver. Do you think I should try?
I think we should all try. I mean, I can't really do the swim very good, but I'm still going to try to do it.
Okay, we'll try to convince all the others too. And we'll turn to the group. Who wants to go for a swim later?
They're back
I
on
don't want
shore.
other people doing it.
We're far away.
You are out
You're
of
far
the
away. I'm screaming. Who wants to go for a swim later?
What?
I think
Yeah, Kilian and Robin, you're both sitting there eating your pork legs.
I think you can see Eidos, who has found the island of shade under a palm tree in the sea of sunlight. He's in full black cloak, full gray tunic, and he's just enjoying a big drink with like a fruit shish kebab sticking out of it. He's not enthused about another beach excursion.
Let's go back so we can get them in on it.
He says, if you would like to join, just talk to my brother, give him the 3 gold, and you will have the time of your life. Sorry, 3 silver. We merfolk, we're bad at the coin. We don't use it much.
I understand.
Only 3
It
silver
took
to
me a
join.
little while to learn the clinky clank as well.
Indeed, math is not our strong suit.
What is math?
He waves you off as your boat, your little boat captain takes you on to the rest of the merfolk's tents, and you see a variety of goods, but nothing like spectacular is out there for sale besides that big old diamond. And you go back in, and do you talk to his brother, the one selling pearls?
First, we need to talk to the group because we need to get as many people into this as we can, so our chances of winning are better.
Or do we just pay for everyone now and tell them the pearl?
Yes, because then they have to do
Yeah,
it because it's already paid for.
exactly.
You're so smart, Serafina.
I think Robin and Kilian are watching you all from on the beach, and they're just like, I don't know what they're talking about, but I don't like it.
I imagine it's like, huddle talking, looking over, get back talking, then
Exactly.
So I just look over to Bula, just eating. It's like, what do you think? Why are they talking to that merman over there? What do you think they're talking about?
I mean, I hope that they're getting more snacks, but
I mean, but all the food tents are back over on land.
all the food tents that you know about.
Oh, you're right. Maybe they're talking about a secret food tent that isn't available to the general public.
A special food tent.
Yeah, you know how Serafina always has an inn somewhere.
She does. She certainly does.
Yeah.
So Serafina will reach into her purse and pay for 6 tickets to this pearl diving competition, and she'll ask the merman, so do you have any tips for us on how to win? We had our eyes on the diamond.
He says, well, between you and I, the person who digs the most, people they expect to go down there and just see the pearl sitting on top of the sand. That is not how it goes. You have to go down and you have to dig a bit. You have to explore. This is how you find all the pearls. This is how you find the diamond.
Thank you.
He says, you're welcome. I'm excited to see you all, how do you all say wet?
Maybe we'll find you afterwards, after we get this diamond.
I would be glad if you did. If you are the winner, I will present you with the diamond myself and my brother.
Both of you! Oh my god, perfect. She turns to Morrowind. Now we have to win.
I've always wanted to have a real conversation with the mermaid.
He says, if you like to have the conversation with the mermaid, you must go and speak to my cousin, Vermonda. He points down the way at another dark black-haired mermaid, and she has like a crowd around her. She's like got her chin on the deck, and she's like watching them all talking. And they're all like, they look like they're debating the crowd around her. He says, she's the best conversationalist from where I am from. You must speak to her. She is the most fun.
Oh,
my
well,
goodness.
we don't always just want conversation.
Well, what else would we want?
Oh, the
With
little
each
one
other.
does not know what the land folks want. Interesting. You can find
she'll-
out.
Serafina will grab Marway's shoulder and take him to the lady who's chatting with everyone, so he can chat her up.
You see Chiffon is
know
over
what to
there.
say.
She's staying like a healthy distance away from the water that's lapping on the pier. But Chiffon is standing there, and she's like clearly deep in thought. You walk up and hear all the people around her kind of arguing amongst themselves. And she says, this one gives the riddles. I am trying to figure out his riddle. It's very tricky. He's a very smart one.
Ooh,
the
what's the
merwoman.
riddle?
She says, the one she just told us. It is, I'm full of stories, both ancient and new. I cover most of Earth in a vast blue. What am I?
Can you say that one
Lula's
more
not where
time?
she can hear this, right?
You're
She
welcome to
says
like
it.
go over. Once you saw them, you watch them walk over. You're welcome to walk over and see what they're up to.
So you said it's full of
Just-
stories, and it covers most of the earth in a vast blue.
Perhaps about 75%.
This is Dion. I don't know what you mean.
Sorry, 69%.
Thank you.
Nice.
The mermaid she's down there just watching everybody arguing, and she says, tick tock, tick tock.
Marway, what do you think?
I don't know. Riddles are word games, and I can barely understand your words in the first place.
Kilian will walk over, like just finishing off the boar leg, and be like, "What's going on? What are we talking about?"
Chiffon says, we are trying to solve the riddle of the merfolk. It's very complicated.
Where's Eidos? He's pretty good at these word games.
Bula sidles up as well, and she says, "Say it again. What was that?"
Chiffon tells you again. She says, I am full of stories, both ancient and new. I cover most of Earth in a vast blue. What am I?
I think you hear a sigh from behind all of you, and it's like the one parasol that's this pier, and Ados is there with another drink with a fruit shish kebab in it. Just sighs and says, "It's the ocean."
And Chiffon yells it, "The ocean!"
Take-
The Mermamoon goes, "She got it. Good job."
Takes a
Cat.
while.
Chiffon fluffs her fur and like shrinks back. She remembers and like puts on her hat of disguise and like pulls it down over her face. Remembers that she's supposed to be in hiding.
Seraphina nods knowingly, but she doesn't know. She doesn't understand.
The merwoman says, I have another. Are you ready? And the crowd kind of like, yeah. She says, this one is more of a joke. How do you catch a school of fish? And the whole crowd starts whispering amongst themselves again, trying to figure it out.
And we'll just yell out, "How?"
She says, with a bookworm.
She's so clever.
Whole crowd
You just
moans.
hear, you hear Bula laugh like way louder than the rest of the crowd. In a very unladylike manner.
Do we know when the pearl thing is starting?
Yeah, so you guys would have asked the man selling the pearls, and he told you it's about like 2 hours from now. So you have a little bit of time to come.
So Seraphina will turn to everybody who's there and will say, "Okay, great. In about 2 hours, we are gonna go diving for pearls, and there is a diamond prize that we can all win. So everybody put on your bathing suits and get ready. And where's Zada, by the way?"
Like
Went
way
back to
back
Mjolnir.
You see Mjolnir is like laid out on the stone, totally on his side, like snoring in the sun.
Adel's
But
kind
it's
of
just standing there.
Adel's kind of perk up a little bit. He'll turn to Merway and Sylvan ask him if he say, can you use that diamond?
I do not know, but I mean, I know I'm after gemstones, so I would imagine so.
Diamond is one of the most rare gemstones of this land.
And I did say it was worth at least 300 gold.
Put on my bathing suit, I suppose. And
Excellent! I know this is going to do it with us!
Ados changes, and you know Kylo Ren when Rey sees him in that vision, or like speaks to him from across the galaxy, and it's
Those
just like
high-waisted pants.
the high-waisted black pants. That's his bathing suit.
Solo.
Awesome.
It makes so
Okay.
much sense, though.
It really
I
does.
imagine
I knew I knew what you were gonna say before you said it. I was like, the pants.
Oh, the pants.
Chiffon is
Imagine
like,
your like nose is white with like the zinc. sunblock.
I don't know if I have a bathing suit.
It's okay,
Hmm.
Marway. The way we used to do it back home when we went to the creek is that we just went down to our skinnies, you know?
That's what we did at where I'm from. We just don't wear clothes into the water, but everyone here is wearing clothes.
Well, you can go in your undies.
What are these?
Oh, that was a conversation we had with Zada, not you. Well, and she just like kind of rummages around and pulls out like a kind of a scarf, kind of a poncho-ish looking thing, and she just like spins him around and like ties it around his waist and like in between his legs, almost like a
diaper.
kind of. She says, "There, you're good."
I like to think you left a hole for his little tail.
Of course.
So Monterey's sitting there, he's just got this little diaper on, he kind of takes the rest of his clothes off and starts like spinning around. And as he's spinning, you notice that there's like, on his back, it's like black and veiny almost. As he just spins it around in joy.
A couple people in the crowd around you are like, yeah, nice.
For a swim.
All right. And you all kill some time, have some more fruity drinks, answer a few more of this mermaid's riddles, and then people start gathering over by the tide pools, and you see the pearl salesman over there kind of organizing people and directing them to different tide pools. And you see mermaids are like flipping from pool to pool, distributing the pearls on the bottom as people are getting ready. Are you all 6 joining? Chiffon is like, I would rather not. I don't want to get my fur wet. Thank you.
Yeah, did someone go tell Zada? Because he's not even close.
Yeah, Serafino will go find Zada and tell him the great news of the competition that we are all joining in together as a group activity.
Because Zada loves water. It's his favorite.
But there's only one thing he likes more: competition.
That's true. That's true.
Alrighty. And people, they line people up. There's 3 people for each of these tide pools. And the tide is coming in, so the pools are getting a little bit deeper as everybody gets ready to dive. You all prepare yourselves. You're split amongst 2 tide pools, so you're lucky enough that there's so many of you, you're not up against competition, really. It's just 3 of you per tide pool. Although everybody else is. There is other competition in the other tide pools. You're just not in a pool with anybody else besides your own group. And Chiffon stays up on the dock and, applauds. You can do it! Get all the diamonds and the pretties! And,
I'll turn to the attendant for this pool and ask them if there are any rules.
Do not kill each other.
Okay.
That's about it.
Perfect.
Find the shiny things. Whoever gets the most wins the prize.
Are there any like little crabs or anything in the sand? Any animals of some kind?
Lots. These are like very active oceanic tide pools. So like you look around and you see like little burrowing crabs, you see little hermit crabs with their shells. You see like within the water itself some like living like sea anemones and things like that. They're very active tide pools they're definitely not just like sand on bottom. They're a whole little ecosystem.
Well, as we're all like getting ready, since you said that the only rules don't kill each other, I'm going to cast Speak with Animal.
Nice.
And I'm going to tell them, find me the diamond and I will get you as much food as you can eat.
You're talking
What
what sort of animal are you whispering this to? You're up on the shore. You're not in the water yet. So I'm imagining it's like a crab or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Tell your friends.
This little crab goes, what is a diamond?
It's kind of see-through, like the water, but it's hard, and it's like this big.
Hard, see-through, this big.
Yes.
Okay.
Ados is also going to cast Mage Hand under the water. He's going to want the Mage Hand to kind of like just scoop through the sand and try to just uncover as many pearls near where he's standing as possible, bring him to the surface.
All right, cool. Yep, as you're casting this spell, someone blows on a conch horn, and everybody dives into the water, and your mage hand starts scooping. So everybody, go ahead. No, you go ahead. You tell me what you're doing, and I'll tell you guys what to roll.
Everybody cheat first. Let's go.
Yeah. At the start,
I
Seraphina is going to also cast Mage Hand as well as Unseen Servant. And
Are either of those concentration? Can you have both up? I don't think. As long as they're not both concentration, then you should be good. I just want to double check.
Let me make sure Mage Hand is. I don't see Mage Hand as concentration. I feel like Unseen. Yeah, I don't see either of them as concentration.
Okay, so you should be good. Yeah, they should stay. I didn't think they were, so you should be okay.
Yeah, and then Seraphine is also gonna yell out the tip that the merman had given her about like, oh, okay. She'll whisper loudly to just hear the rest of the group about digging deeper. Yeah.
Okay, you all hear her start to yell and then whisper. But
Oh, yeah.
you have to dig. You're not just gonna sit on top. Anybody else have any tricks up your sleeve, or are you just diving in and swimming?
Go ahead.
Who's in my pool?
Oh yeah, who's with who?
I mean, it's up to you guys. How would you have lined up?
We gotta split up the heavy hitters.
Yeah,
I'll,
'cause Lula's gonna dig with her hands and her feet.
Yeah, that's all
Oh, yeah.
Kilian can do.
Zada. Oh, I was gonna say, Zada
Ados will join
spends
up with Marrow's pool.
So then Bula's probably with Marway.
Absolutely, she's not letting him out of her sight.
All right, so Seraphina, Kilian, and Zada. Zada will spend a focus point, and his mane will turn very watery-ish. His claws are going to extend into like giant icicles. Same with his fangs. It's on the cold attribute / water attribute of the elements. Oh yeah, and his fur turns completely. So it's his black fur turns like a light gray, and his other fur turns white.
Cool. Looking like that. You dive in, Kilian, and Robin, or Bula, you're just straight swimming and digging?
Yep.
Okay, fab.
She's
Okay,
got
so-
all kinds of crawdads back in the creek at home, so she knows this game.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do the dig.
Okay, Kilian, Zada, and Bula, go ahead and roll dexterity or athletics.
Marway is also in the water digging until the crabs come back.
Okay, so you do the same.
Kilian got 13 for dexterity.
Dirty 20.
Ooh, 16 for Zada.
It's going to be a 15 for Marway.
Nice. All right, yeah, you swim down pretty quickly, so you can each roll 2 d20s for the time that you saved getting down to the water because you all swam so fast. And then Seraphina and Eidos, just roll investigation or sleight of hand for your spells, for your mage hands, to be scooping and grabbing. Is that a nat 20?
It is on my first one. Let me see if I can do it again. No, but so it's a nat 20 for the first one and the 15. What is that tied to?
Are we tying it to
Is
anything?
that off the
It's just a straight roll.
Okay.
Not even
Nat
dexes.
20.
You already rolled your dex. This is just to see how many you're able to scoop up with those two. So you had a 10 and a 15 from our way?
No, I had a 20 and a 15.
A 20 and a 15? Okay.
Yeah, Ados just wanted to do Mage Hand to like tilt the scales in his favor. He's still gonna jump in the water and
diving.
get him.
Cool.
Yeah.
Go ahead and
So-
roll that dex too then. See how
Dex,
fast you get
okay.
down to the bottom. Seraphine, you can do the same if you're also swimming. If you're just
Okay,
kind of floating
for-
there and letting your mage hand do the work, that's fine too.
She'll just this once she'll do the digging. So you said
Go
the
ahead and
dex.
I mean,
She
it's
saw that
beautiful ocean
diamond.
water.
Or athletics, sorry, for either of you. Dex or
Athletics.
athletics.
I do have a question. For my sleight of hand, can I re-roll with heroic inspiration before I roll the digging one?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Let me do sleight of hand again.
Oh, are we rolling for both?
I can only re-roll for one. So my sleight of hand was 13.
Okay.
And then my athletics. I'm gonna roll.
Or
dex.
or Dex, yeah.
I got a 10 for my dex and 13 for my sleight of hand.
Okay, those are both good enough. So you can also roll 2 just straight up d20s. What was your dex, Eidos?
My dex was 13, and my sleight of hand was also 13.
Good. Those are both good enough. So you can also roll 2 d20s.
I got 9 and 11.
Cock.
Ah,
Wow. Yeah, it's better than mine. I got a 7 and a 2.
It's better than mine because Kilian got
so hard.
2 2s.
Ooh,
Two twos.
two,
Got to breathe.
too many 2s.
Well, Bula didn't do well on one of them, so she lucky evented and ended up with a 15 and an 8.
Okay. And Zada, what were your 2 d20s?
17 and 9.
All right. Yeah, you're all down under the water. Mage hands are scooping. Marway, as you're coming back up to the surface to take your breath, a little crab comes swimming up to you. And it says, I didn't find it. I'm going to go look that way. Click, click, clicks off the other way to a different
luck.
side pool. And you all keep going. You keep searching, digging up as much as you can. And just as you hear one of the mer people yell, 1 minute warning, 1 minute warning. The mage hands are still scooping. The crab comes swimming back over. And it has, in one of its massive claws, a big fat diamond.
Ooh.
And it says, is this shiny hard?
I take it and I look at it to see if it is in fact a diamond and not like a broken piece of glass.
It is a broken piece of glass.
Oh,
Excellent. It is fails. This is not quite it, but keep trying. We're going to get it.
Okay. Swims back off. And everybody roll a d20 one more time, since you all have pretty good decks.
oh my god.
All right, that's
30
better.
20.
Ooh.
19.
Wait, what are we putting it against?
Dex.
It's just a straight up.
Or
No,
athletics.
this one is just a straight up d20 roll.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
It's just straight up? Then 17.
15.
Kilian also got 15.
I picked mine to 19.
Melody's face looks like she thinks she has the worst roll, but she's wrong.
Seraphina got
Wrong.
a 5.
That was a 5.
Yeah,
Woo!
Perfect. That's what we like to hear.
It is
And
what was
that
yours?
one.
That one.
That's a big fat one.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Yikes.
The pants are taking
And,
on water.
Once again, Marwa, you're down there searching, picking up pearls from in the sand, and your crab comes skirling along the bottom. This time, in one claw, it's holding a pearl, just a white pearl, and in the other is clearly an actual diamond this time.
I'm still
And it
going to
says-
use my experience with my jeweler's kits to make sure it's actually a diamond, because I trust him, but I want to be sure.
It gives you both.
As much as you can trust a crab.
Which is a long way, apparently.
And go ahead and roll investigation with that jeweler's kit, so with advantage.
Marway's underwater with like the little like magnifying glass. It's like-
Yeah.
It's gonna be a 15.
Okay, that'll do it. Yeah, you're testing its hardness under this water, and you even like scratch a pearl with it, and by all accounts, this appears to be a 300 diamond piece of, or a 300 gold piece of diamond.
300 diamond piece of diamond.
Yes, 300 diamond piece of diamond. And you go swimming back up to the top, and just as you're swimming up, you all hear the blare of that conch shell, and the contest is over, and people have to start surfacing. And you all come up. Some of you with more pearls than others. Eidos, you come up with 5 whole pearls.
Yay!
Maraway comes up with pockets full, and you count them out, and you have 28.
Jesus.
That's a lot of pearls.
Dag.
Okay.
Enough for a necklace.
Mm-hmm. Seraphina, you come up with a respectable 14 pearls. You like found like the big ones specifically. Or the ones that like
She threw 'em back.
Oh, yeah, she's like,
her pick your blue
no.
one. Eh.
No. Ooh, this one's black.
Kilian, you come up with a slightly less respectable 10 pearls.
I'll take it.
Zada comes up with 20. And Bula comes up with 20.
And Eidos just sneak his 5 into Marroway's pouch. Marway's pouch.
Sure.
Yeah.
You
It's
just
just
say,
kinda-
oh,
kinda-
darn, I didn't find any, as you roll a sleight of hand with advantage.
Okay. 16 or 16.
Yeah, that'll do it. You manage to sneak him over his way, and you just go, well, damn, I didn't get any.
Shucks.
And Maraway now
Above the
has.
table, are pearls considered jewels?
Oh, yeah.
Good old Google.
They're definitely not gems.
In my head, they are.
Like, when I think about, like, you know, pirate jewels, I kind of put those in with it, but
Right?
these are things I need to know.
Yeah, pearls are on the gemstone chart.
Excellent.
So
Oh.
yes. Sure.
Are these like D&D Beyond's pearls that are 100 gold pieces each, or are these less than?
Oh, fuck.
These are less than. These are imperfect, like much more like naturally occurring pearls. I mean, all pearls are naturally occurring, but you know what I mean. They're imperfect pearls, all different sizes. They're all like different color and clarity. So they're not quite worth their normal weight. They're like half price pearls, if we had to put a number to it.
Okay.
That's
Discount
still a
pearls.
lot.
It's still a lot. It is still a lot.
Some bargain bin
I'll appraise
pearls.
all of them later in the cart, everyone, and then we'll know how much money we have in pearls.
Yeah, you count them up, and though you had a lot of people competing, you're all like warriors and fighters and, and good at your craft. So the normies didn't quite stand a chance. So especially with Maraway's massive number he came up with, plus Eidos' 5, you managed to take this competition handily. And you turn in, you show them that you won the diamond, and the twins, that is wonderful, good job. And they give you a
Oh, thank
round of
you.
applause in the water. And they say, there is a secondary prize for the person with the most pearls, and it appears to be you as well. And they swim down under the water, under the ocean, and come back up. And they've got this like small glass jar of sand. And they say, it is a sort of charmed sand. You will like it. And they hand it
What
over.
does it do?
They say you sprinkle it on your nose, and you will be able to breathe under the sea as a merfolk for 24 hours.
Oh my goodness.
And it's a small jar, so there's a good number of uses. If all you have to do is sprinkle it on your nose to get the charm. It's certainly not a one-time use kind of thing. They say, congratulations. You are a merfolk at heart.
I just like looking over at the rest of the group, and I'm just like holding my sand and my diamond and my pouch of pearls. And I'm like,
This is the best day for you.
like imagine when like Billie Eilish won all her like awards, and she's like just walking out with them, like lining her arm. That's Marco right now.
Alrighty. Yeah, and the party continues. Eventually, the sun is setting. The bonfires are being lit. Bula finds a whole lot more really, really fantastic barbecue. There's a whole crawfish boil at one point.
Heck yeah, I told y'all it could be barbecue.
Indeed it was.
It's a wild guess. It's a good guess.
I'll never doubt Bula's nose again.
I mean, to be fair, she thinks all fires could be barbecue, so.
She's got to be right eventually.
Right.
Yeah.
Eventually, yeah.
And this is why you gotta find out.
Hey, when you guys are like
Exactly.
all dried off, Zada's just gonna shake. Do the big shake, get you all wet again.
Cat.
Chiffon is deeply upset that you just got her wet. She eventually asks so are we staying here in the city tonight, or are we trying to get back on the road?
I mean, the sun is setting. We might as well. Seems safe here.
Yeah, probably best to stay here the night rather than out on the open road.
Sure.
You see Mjolnir and Glitterbell are like curled up together, still on the concrete on the pavement. Chiffon says, well, I suppose I could go into the city and find us some lodging for the night, yes?
That
Yeah.
sounds wonderful.
And she says, I am on it, boss, and skips off into the city. Although she is wearing her giant hat of disguise, she doesn't like actually do much to change how she looks. She's at this point, like, you could tell like she just changed where her different spots of orange and black are. And made her fur like longer. But she's still pretty clearly Chiffon, but no one is really looking twice at her here.
She's going to get caught.
Maruei is going to slowly start getting all the pearls into his little jar of holding and getting his clothes put back on.
You all find a bonfire to sit and have some dinner and some more fruity cocktails. Is anybody imbibing like a lot tonight?
Yeah, Zada will.
Ada's
Close
cutting
minded
loose
too.
too.
I was gonna try to make a group drinking competition with Kilian and Bula.
Yeah, Kilian's.
Bula's gonna drink a lot, but she always does, so I don't know that it would be more than her normal.
Yeah, Kilian has gotten a lot off of his chest, so he feels like a burden has been lifted off of him a little bit. So he's happy to have quite a few drinks.
Alrighty, if you're imbibing significantly more than usual, go ahead and roll a con check for me.
Maruei will also be doing the drinking, but with his anti-alcohol.
Alrighty.
Nice.
I would like you
Finally
to do a
hanged.
con check for
Alrighty.
sugar intake, because you're all drinking a lot of- These are fruit cocktails.
All
Oh,
right.
gosh.
Oh no.
So just a con check.
Yeah.
All right, Kilian got 17.
18.
Nice.
So 22 for me.
5 for Zada.
5?
Oh,
5.
trash immediately.
Most of you can hold your liquor. Most of you.
Zada is
Zada-
overindulging in fruity drinks.
I like to think that, like, by the time Chiffon comes back, Zada has like an empty like glass in each hand and
Yeah.
is like still trying to like drain them and being like, oh no, I'm out, and then seeing the other glass and being like, oh yay, and then being like, oh no, I'm out, and just going back and forth between two empty glasses. That then Kilian like hands you another full one.
You know when you
You're
give
the
people
best.
unalcoholic like beer or something and they don't know that it's not alcoholic, so they still act drunk? That's essentially Maraway at this point. He doesn't like understand what alcohol does, so he's just like getting silly because that's what everyone else is doing.
Perfect. And yeah, the sugar is still definitely getting to your head. But it's a lot of fruit in these drinks. Yeah, Chiffon comes back and she says, yes, I got us a small, there was not a lot of rooms left and not a lot of places here, if I'm being honest, but I got us a few small rooms, so whenever we are ready to turn in, we can go and do that. Or we can stay here and drink more!
Yeah.
Yeah!
And also a quick
As they continue to indulge, I'm going to sit down and start writing in my journal.
Okay. Yeah, you find a group of mermaids that are selling different like liquors that they've recovered from different shipwrecks, and you party with them. The twins and Seraphina, I like to think, are kind of off at the end of the bar flirting. This like swim up bar. Anybody do anything in particular? People are dancing around bonfires. There's a game of tug of war happening, like from the ocean to the beach, like Legland and mermaid people.
Bula is in that 100%.
Oh yeah, Zada's going for that too. He may not be the best on his feet right now, but he's gonna go do it anyways.
I like to think you like tie the end of the rope, Zada, to Mjolnir's like harness.
Oh, there you go.
He's on the end, like trying to walk through the sand.
Poor Mjolnir.
Poor Mjolnir.
He's-
I'm so surprised nobody's tried to talk to him yet.
Oh, it's coming.
Oh yeah, I know it's
Yeah,
coming.
there.
I'm just surprised it hasn't yet.
He didn't have the spell prepared yet.
Uh,
I didn't do it the first night.
Marway, how long does your speak with animals last? You cast it during the.
That is a great question. It will last for 10 minutes.
Okay, so yeah, it's worn off by the time you get around to hanging out with Mjolnir again. Both I guess if you're doing the tug of war, Bula and Zada go ahead and roll a strength check, but Zada with disadvantage.
Woohoo!
Because he can't hold his liquor.
Fine. He rolled really high, so I'm good.
Dang it. 16.
I rolled a 17 and a 15. So
With Eden's burst of ingenuity, Bula, you can add just a flat 2 to that roll.
So
Wink.
18.
Yeah, with your help, your team of people in this tug of war, like they were, like it was pretty evenly matched when you see this all start, and you both like look at each other and grab Mjolnir and go running over and join in, and like very easily you drag all these merfolk up onto the sand before they all like give up and let go, and you all fall backward. Zada
Damn
like
straight.
goes flying over Mjolnir.
just laughing hysterically.
Bula like kind of tries to catch him, but at the same time she's laughing so hard that it doesn't exactly work. And then she
Yeah.
laughs because he hits the floor.
Very fun.
I think he goes into like a drunken monk tumble. It's kind of there almost.
Yeah.
I like to think you look like that lady who did breakdancing at the Olympics. Really
There
badly.
you go.
Reagan realness.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Kilian's on the beach, just kinda he's a little bit like off on his own, but what he's doing is like he's going into like some of the where the tide comes in a little bit, and he like grabbing like sand. He's basically building like a little sand castle for himself, and he's trying to model it after his home that from what he remembers, Watcher's Point. So he's just making a model, and then when you look at it, it's just like a really ugly mound of sand that has like zero detail to it. But he's just really drunk. He's like, "This looks good." And he finds like a little stick. He just puts like a flag in it.
Yeah, Zada will probably come up behind you before you notice. He's gonna try to do it like stealthy, like sneak up behind you. See if I can do this. This is disadvantage, right? Let's see if I can sneak up on you. We are both at disadvantage, so.
I'll roll perception at disadvantage.
All right, I got a 15 with disadvantage.
Oh, I got 5.
All right, so Zada's gonna come up behind you. He's gonna wrap his arms around you, get you in a giant hug, and then just start like rubbing against your face and just purring to be like, "What's going on, man? You okay?"
Trying to build a sandcastle. It's my home.
It's really good. It's really good.
It's my house, man. It's my house back in Cordia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's my room over there, and it's just like a really like indented piece of sand.
Yeah, it's real good.
It's like I stick a rock in it. That was my window that I would just watch out of.
She's just like watching you two have this conversation. She's not drunk. She's just like, hey. Yeah, the night goes on, the bonfires are roaring, the food is delicious, the drinks are flowing. Anything anybody wants to do before we fade to black here tonight? Okay.
Fade to blackout drunk.
Fade to blackout.
Blackout drunk.
Not so much a fade as a fall.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, the eventually Chiffon and some of the more sober members of your party, between Maraway and Serenados and Bula, herd you all back to the inhospitable. 3 words.
Awesome.
And
That's cute. I like that.
thank you. And you all fall into bedrolls and beds. There's only a couple beds amongst the 7 of you people, and Glitterbell takes up half of one. She likes to spread out when she sleeps.
Zada's
There's a lot of bedrolls on the floor.
Zada's gonna purr and then just like still holding on to Kilian, being big spoon for him.
Very cozy.
Between
Eventually,
Motorway
Kilian is
and-
just like, it's too hot!
Yeah, when he goes
Between-
claws, just pulls him back.
Between Marway and Siege, they're gonna get Bula into one of the beds, and he's gonna tuck her in real good, and like put Sir Lavender kind of in her arms as she sleeps, and then he's gonna crawl underneath her bed and go to sleep.
Zada like pawing at Kilian, and Kilian's like half asleep at this point. He's like, no, demon off me.
Yeah, some of you eventually sleep better than others. Sleep or pass out better than others. And you spend, it's nice to be back in a room with a roof over your head for most of you. And this is where we're going to call it for tonight. Here in the Inhospitable. After a very fun bonfire party. Thank you all for playing. Thank you all for watching. We'll be back this time next week. Not this time. 7 o'clock next week. 8 o'clock Eastern time. Time is hard. Go live your lives. We'll see you soon. Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.